Thank you, Madam Speaker. Please vote yes on this amendment. I just have one thought to add to what's already been said here. What this amendment helps do is clarify the enforcement mechanisms of the desired policy ends in the underlying policy. The risk we have without this amendment is that the different enforcement mechanisms could actually contravene each other. You could have a situation where a private right of action actually interferes with the Attorney General's ability to pursue their version of enforcement. It's one of the problems posed by the underlying policy's various enforcement mechanisms. If they aren't synchronized correctly, they could actually hurt each other's prospects. This amendment clarifies that potential conflict well, and I think ultimately forwards the policy ends of the underlying bill. Please vote yes. Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. I promised we'd talk about geofencing again, and here we are. This is another amendment that deals with this geofencing issue. And again, geofencing is that digital process by which you are tracked geographically, and as you move through physical space, become open and targeted by different kinds of marketing, different kinds of commercial activity, different kinds of digital activity. It is a growingly common practice in digital marketing and digital commerce, and it isn't just advertising, although it often involves advertising. It can involve other things, activation of apps and other software that you may like to use. It is controversial in some circles, and certainly the way the underlying bill prescribes or prohibits or lists or restricts how geofencing can be used is highly controversial. This tries to be elegant by simply removing the underlying bill's most substantive descriptions and actions taken on the geofencing process. It is a simple mechanical amendment, but I think it has a profound and strengthening and clarifying effect on the practical application of the underlying bill's policy goals. So geofencing will be something we're likely to hear about a lot, even going forward, Madam Speaker, and I think this is a good, clear response to the underlying bill's not so clear treatment of geofencing. Please vote yes. This is a familiar basket of policy provisions. We've seen it before. We've negotiated many of these points before. The matter of digital privacy is a compelling one. But, Madam Speaker, as we have in years past, when we've considered these same issues, we need to stay rational, we need to stay reasonable about what it is we're trying to do in the state law and what it is that this particular bill will accomplish versus what it promises to do in the law. And one of the biggest challenges I see in this bill is that it promises protection of personal data, personal information in the digital world, but does not necessarily deliver that protection. Madam Speaker, we all want our personal information to be safe and secure. And we are rightly concerned about how our personal data in the digital world is used and twisted and manipulated toward various ends, commercial or otherwise. These are legitimate concerns. The reason, Madam Speaker, that I'm going to vote no on this bill and ask you to vote no on the bill is that the bill is simultaneously too much and not enough in protecting our personal data. As I mentioned about one of the previous amendments, Madam Speaker, one of my concerns about this bill is that the several-pronged enforcement mechanisms may end up kind of conflicting with each other and rendering each other less effective enforcement than if there were only one or maybe two enforcement mechanisms. Instead, there are multiple here, and particularly the the private right of action and the Attorney General's empowerment under the Consumer Protection Act, I'm very concerned that those two elements could cancel each other out. In all, Madam Speaker, the combination of promising a lot but not clearly delivering protection, I think is something should be of great concern to you and me and all of us. Lastly, Madam Speaker, I'm concerned that this bill sets in place the beginnings of policy down the road that may not protect personal privacy, yet may also have chilling effects on the good technology that we want in the digital world. It is a convoluted bill, Madam Speaker. It's not an effective one. I don't believe it will do what it promises. Please vote no.